This prison guard has been hailed as a hero after he secretly taught inmates to read and write, and his good deeds only came to light when one of his students wrote him a letter and signed it with their full names. But what did this letter say? Keep watching to find out what the prisoner's letter said that made the warden change his mind about him. It was just another day at the notorious state penitentiary, where thousands of prisoners had been locked up, some serving life sentences without parole. The prison guards were under strict orders from the governor to keep a close eye on the prisoners and make sure no funny business was taking place. But little did they know one of the prison guards was breaking the rules and teaching the inmates who couldn't read or write. It all started when the new prison guard, Mr. Williams, noticed how illiterate most of the inmates were. He would see them struggling to fill out prison forms and unable to participate in literacy classes because they couldn't get the time off. This broke Mr. Williams' heart, because many of these men had never had the opportunity to learn how to read or write. So he came up with a secret plan. Every night after his shift, Mr. Williams would come back to the prison dressed in civilian clothes, so the inmates wouldn't recognize him. He would enter the prison undetected and go straight to the cells of the inmates who couldn't read or write. He would then begin their literacy class in secret, teaching them the alphabet, reading, writing, and basic math skills. The inmates were thrilled to finally be able to learn how to read, and they were very grateful to Mr. Williams for helping them. They would study together every night until it was time for Mr. Williams to leave. Before leaving, he would remind them to keep their lessons a secret and not let anyone know what they were doing. For months, Mr. Williams continued to teach the inmates in secret. But eventually one of the prisoners decided to write him a letter expressing his gratitude for all his help. The prisoner poured his heart out onto the paper, thanking Mr. Williams for giving him the gift of literacy. He signed the letter with his full name, which was something he had never been able to do before. The next day, Mr. Williams went to work as usual, and to his surprise, he found the letter in his mailbox. It seems like one of the inmates had sent it to him during the night. Mr. Williams was both happy and worried when he read the letter. Happy because he knew that his student was doing well, and sad because he knew that if the warden found out what he was doing, he could get fired. Despite his fears, Mr. Williams decided to keep teaching the inmates. He knew that what he was doing was wrong, but he couldn't bear the thought of them not being able to read. The letter quickly became known throughout the prison, and other inmates began asking Mr. Williams for help. Soon, he was spending every night teaching dozens of inmates how to read. The prison guard's actions didn't go unnoticed. Warden Clayton began receiving complaints from the prisoners that Mr. Williams was spending too much time in their cells, and that he was favoring certain inmates over others. Warden Clayton was suspicious, but he didn't want to believe that one of his trusted guards was doing anything wrong. Still, he decided to investigate and see what Mr. Williams was up to. One night, Warden Clayton followed Mr. Williams and saw him entering an inmate's cell. When he heard the sound of laughter coming from inside, he became suspicious. The next day, Warden Clayton called Mr. Williams into his office and confronted him about his behavior. Mr. Williams was nervous, but he was determined to stand by his actions. He explained to the warden that he was teaching the inmates to read and write, because he believed that everyone should have the opportunity to learn. At first, Warden Clayton was angry, and he threatened to fire Mr. Williams if he didn't stop. But after hearing Mr. Williams' reasoning, he began to understand why the guard was doing what he was doing. Warden Clayton decided to give Mr. Williams a second chance. He warned him to be more discreet in the future and reminded him that he was employed by the state to guard the prisoners, not teach them. However, deep down, Warden Clayton admired Mr. Williams's dedication to his students and understood the importance of literacy. He knew that the prisoners would never admit it, but they were grateful for the secret classes and the chance to improve their lives. As time went on, more and more prisoners took advantage of Mr. Williams' secret classes. The literacy rate among the inmates increased dramatically, and the prison became a better place because of it. Prisoners who couldn't read before were now able to fill out their forms, apply for parole, and even read the newspaper. They thanked Mr. Williams for opening up a whole new world to them. Mr. Williams continued to teach the inmates in secret, knowing that he was making a difference in their lives. He never asked for recognition and was content with seeing his students succeed. The other prison guards began to notice the positive impact Mr. Williams was having on the inmates, and they started to support his efforts. They began to bring books into the prison for the inmates to read and even donated their time to help out with the secret classes. The entire prison staff became involved in teaching the inmates to read. Word of Mr. Williams' secret classes spread beyond the prison walls, and soon he was being contacted by people from all over the country. Inmates, former inmates, and even celebrities began sending him letters thanking him for his service. Some offered to donate money to the prison library, while others offered to come to the prison and read to the inmates. Mr. Williams was overwhelmed by the support, but he knew that the attention wasn't really on him, but on the inmates and the importance of literacy. One day, Mr. Williams was called to the governor's office. He was nervous, thinking that he was in trouble, but instead, the governor commended him for his work. The governor was impressed by how Mr. Williams had improved the literacy rate in the prison, and he wanted to know how he could support these efforts. Mr. Williams explained that the inmates needed more books and educational materials, and the governor promised to provide them. The governor also announced that Mr. Williams would be receiving a substantial raise and a promotion. Mr. Williams was shocked. He had never asked for any of this, but he knew that his students deserved all the support he could get. He accepted the raise and the promotion, but he refused to let the governor buy him any new books. Instead, he asked that the money be used to start a scholarship fund for the inmates. With the help of the governor and the rest of the prison staff, Mr. Williams was able to set up a scholarship fund that allowed inmates to apply for financial aid when they were released. The inmates were thrilled to know that they could pursue higher education when they were released, and many of them began taking night classes while they were still in prison. In the end, Mr. Williams' secret classes had a profound impact on the inmates and the prison as a whole. He had not only taught them to read and write, but had given them hope for a better future. His dedication and hard work had paid off, and the inmates were finally able to break the cycle of illiteracy that had held them back for so long. As the years passed, many of the inmates were released from prison and went on to lead successful lives. They were able to find jobs, start families, and become contributing members of society. All because Mr. Williams had given them the gift of literacy. Some people may have criticized Mr. Williams for breaking the rules and teaching the inmates in secret. But in the end, his actions had made a positive impact on all of their lives. He had shown them that with determination and hard work, they could achieve anything. The prison guard who secretly taught inmates to read and write had not only changed their lives, but had become a hero to them. His story was a reminder that one person's actions could make a difference in the world, and that even in the darkest of places, hope could be found. Now, check out what do prisoners do when they hear the national anthem playing. Or watch. He tried to rob a bank but got arrested for this reason.